Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. Welcome to the 37th edition of Book Fun Friday. Today is March the 19th. So, today's format is going to be a little different, and this is why. 1 year ago tomorrow, I can't believe it, but 1 year ago tomorrow, I recorded my very first book talk for Book Fun Friday. And in honor of that, I am going to present a retrospective of all the titles that I discussed over the past 12 months. Now, my intention in doing these book talks from the beginning was to inspire you or your personal children or your students or all of y'all to find something to read, especially when we were remote from one another and maybe just needed a really good story to put in our hands and take our minds off, at least for a little bit, everything that was such a challenge in our lives at that time and continues to be a challenge in our lives as we go forward. So I hope you like this retrospective of all the books that I've discussed over the last year. Because I am so completely, totally, frankly in love with YA Lit. I'm a fangirl. What can I say? That when the pandemic hit and things turned opposite of always, I went unscripted to find the ways to share YA stories with those in love or could be in love like I. It was a challenge to cross the bridge of separation and plant my feet on a virtual American street to connect you with books that connect you and yours with books. My hope was you'd watch and say, "Hey kiddo, have you read this?" To which your kiddo would smile and say, "No, but I'd love to." And then he or she would. I tried to cover a lot of ground with these book talks: sci-fi and fantasy, historical fiction, memoir and series, graphic comic edition, a classic or a brand new edition, so your kids could find something to read. Like a story about a cyborg in a book titled Cinder. Maybe hang with a bad boy or a brown girl dreaming or the black kids. Remember? Maybe they want to go dancing at the pity party or play basketball around dragon hoops using the crossover moves and hopefully never fall down. If you crash the backboard, we'll clap when you land. Maybe read about the meaning of life in the Graveyard Book. Read how the 5 stages of Andrew Brawley took him to a place alone he could not have gone. How Tupac and Dee Foster and Pedro and me made friendships for people beautiful and lonely. Read a series, perhaps. The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, followed by The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy. Won't you? How about Little and Lion, a brother and sister or the patron saints of nothing, fighting a government sinister. Maybe read about identity and declaring it clear. His name was the Schwa, and he was here. Some books were digital, like Harley Merlin and Not Hungary. Some were generational and graphic style, like Mercury. Some featured kids like the ones that we teach, those who were all in with the fire on high, pressing forward their goals to reach. At points, I shifted to books for younger kids, like A Story for Bear, Pink and Say, the lesson from Enemy Pie, kindness is the better way. All of these books intended for children of blood and bone living in your home, or students who are learning on a Chromebook or a phone. So how has this past year been for you and for me? Has it felt like the year of fever, 1793? Sort of. At times it seemed like nothing but hurt, the filthiest of trials, mired in American dirt. Asking myself for a year, is this the American dream? To recommend books from the other side of a screen? I didn't know, but I had to try. And so I hope among all these titles, you were able to choose a blooming concrete rose to peruse, to use, to light a reading fuse for you and for yours. This year was a challenge for us librarians and for our students who love to read. It was a beautiful struggle indeed. However, just because it was hard doesn't mean it wasn't worth what it took to help anyone, kid, colleague, parent, friend, know how it feels to fall in love with a book. Guys, thank you so much. I cannot express to you how much I appreciate you hanging with me over the past year as I've done all of these book talks. Your feedback has been so valuable, your friendship invaluable. I just can't express enough how much I appreciate and thank you for this. And so it goes on. I'll be back next Friday with a young adult version of a true crime story. So be sure to tune in then. Take care of yourselves in the meantime, and I will see you in a week. Bye.